Hello and welcome to the United Stand. Good evening. Jose Mourinho apparently mocking the Manchester United board, bullying Victor Lindelof. Not my words, the words of others. But we'll be talking about that as well. Lukaku better than Ronaldo. Alexis Sanchez inept. Manchester United fans terrified like a bunch of pigeons, flopping around as people try and kick them because we've got a tough Champions League draw, and the biggest L of the evening must go to me. I'm going to be honest, we normally start the show at 8 o'clock. It is now 10 past 8. The reason is I'm normally a few minutes late, but I'm never normally this late because I've spent the last 5 minutes thinking I was live streaming, looking down and realising I hadn't clicked go. So, big L for me there. Not as big as pot L for Arsenal and Chelsea. That's where they were in the Champions League draw tonight. But Manchester United, let's talk about them. Right, let's start off with this then. So, Jose Mourinho, we spoke about this on Monday night. During the Spurs game. Why is Ander Herrera playing right side centre-back? Is he mocking the board? Is that what he's doing? Is he saying, look, you haven't bought me a centre-back, so I'm playing a centre midfielder at right centre-back? So this has been picked up in the mainstream media today, and they've been talking about it and how players within the club were very confused by why Mourinho was doing that, and there is a lot of confusion around the club at the moment. And maybe that Mourinho playing that Ander Herrera there was a big up yours to the board to say you didn't buy me that centre-back, like I say. My feeling on it is that the formation actually worked quite well because when we had the ball, Ander Herrera moved forward and would be far more progressive in those forward positions than any of our centre-backs. That worked quite well. Defensively, it didn't work quite well. What I think is that Jose Mourinho is... if he is playing games, does that really help Manchester United at the moment? If he is playing games with the board and the board are like, well, we need some cohesion, we need some togetherness. So, but as many of us know, that the Manchester United are on thin ice at the moment. We are on thin ice, whether you want to blame players, board, manager, whatever. We are on thin ice at the moment, and that sort of feeds in. I mean, let's talk about the bullying. No, let's talk about the draw first. Reverse, back up, burp, burp, burp. I wanted to start off with this. Real positivity. Well done to Luke Shaw. He's been called up to the England squad, and he is our first choice left back at the moment. And for anybody who's been watching the United Stand for any period of time, you will know I've always been a big fan of Luke Shaw. We've had people on the show, we've had people in the live comments who've said Luke Shaw isn't that good, get rid of him, this, that and the other. I've always wanted Luke Shaw to make it at Manchester United. Now, if you only started watching in the summer, you will have heard me say, sell Luke Shaw. I did say that. Get rid of Luke Shaw. And the reason for that, and I said it in the summer, was Mourinho will never play Luke Shaw ahead of Ashley Young. So I'm going to say, let's buy a left back because then he'll have to play ahead of Ashley Young. So I applaud Jose Mourinho for that at the moment. We're only 3 games in because Luke Shaw has been our best player. He's player of the month. I don't think anyone can beat Luke Shaw for August player of the month. He's been absolutely fantastic. But I never expected Mourinho to play him ahead of Ashley Young. Obviously, Shaw was in that position and he's held it because Young was coming back from the World Cup. And some people may think, well, that's unfair on Young. I don't. He's not very good. But Luke Shaw is now in the England squad and Ashley Young isn't. So it's a total flip round. We've now got a left-footed left back and England have got a left-footed left back. And this is great for Manchester United. So well done to Luke Shaw because he's put the hard yards in. He's worked really hard. I mean, let's not forget, this is a player that the club or Mourinho or whoever it was leaking a lot of negativity around about him, that he's got a bad attitude and this, that and the other. And here he is now, England and Manchester United's left back. Fantastic. And Mourinho deserves some credit. He's played him, he's given him his chance. I didn't think that would happen. So great. If somebody had said this to me in the summer, I would have said, like I said on Monday night, we don't need Alexandro now. I was gutted we didn't get a left back, but the way it's gone, and nobody would have predicted this, because why wasn't Luke Shaw playing at left back last season? It's a bit like the first half against Spurs. We all loved it. We created loads of chances. It was really, really exciting. But why were we not doing that last season? Why weren't we doing it last season? And the same with Luke Shaw. Brilliant. He's been brilliant this season. Why weren't we doing it last season? I'm not complaining too much because we're doing it now, but there is a hint of hypocrisy, I suppose, isn't it? It's a bit, it's a bit like, I don't know. You go round to your grand's every Sunday lunchtime, don't you? And she makes a coffee cake and it tastes like manure. And then, you go around one day and it tastes beautiful. Why haven't you done? You know, she says, yeah, I haven't. You've not been around for weeks and weeks. Well, you've not been around weeks and weeks because your cake's crap. But you go around because you've got to. She makes a great cake, and in your head, you might even say, you're saying, look, if you'd been making cakes like that, I would have come and seen you every Sunday. But you know, and that's the thing that worries me about Manchester United and Jose Mourinho is why are we doing these good things now, 2 years later? I don't know. But well done to Luke Shaw. Very, very pleased about it. And I hope all you lot are as well. When we going to see Dalot, says Forest Dweller. Yeah, I forgot about Dalot, or Dalot, or Daylot, as I call him. No, I don't really. I think he's I'm excited to see him play. I mean, Valencia, Matic, very, very rusty. Hot off the press. Burnley. The situation with Burnley is they are playing tonight in the Europa League, but he hasn't picked a strong team. So that slight advantage we hoped we were going to get, that, well, I didn't hope we were going to get it. I just thought we would beat Burnley because they take the Europa League seriously. They're not. They've not picked their best team. So that's rather interesting, I suppose. So much to get through tonight. What do I want to talk about next? I do want to talk about the Lindelof bullying story, but let me talk about, Champions League. We did the Champions League draw earlier on. Juventus, Valencia and Young Boys. But in all honesty, I'm very, very pleased about that draw because Juventus and Valencia are going to be really tough games. Obviously, I think everyone's going to beat Young Boys. And you know, I would have preferred a tougher team there just to make it even harder for us. But Juventus and Valencia are going to be very, very tough. And I say, like, you know, call them pigeons. You know, United fans like pigeons in a chicken hut. Well, why would you have pigeons in a chicken hut? We're like chickens in a chicken hut with a fox thrown in. We're like terrified. But there might not be a roof on. Just fly out the roof if chickens can fly. But why are we scared? What are we scared of? We're Manchester United. Are you scared of losing? Because I'm not scared of losing. Are you scared that we're not going to win the Champions League? Because we're not going to win the Champions League. So what have we got to be scared of? I'm not scared of losing. I'm not scared of getting knocked out of the Champions League. I embrace Juventus and Valencia because effectively it's us, Valencia or Juventus who are going to go through. Two from three. And Juventus are probably going to go through. So it's more likely it's going to be United and Valencia for that other spot. And the other one's going to end in the Europa League. But I embrace this because who are Manchester United at the moment? What are we? We don't know. You've got people who are Mourinho out saying Mourinho out, obviously. You've got people who are being optimistic and saying Mourinho in. I was really encouraged by that first half and the things like Luke Shaw. And then we've got a very, very tough September, October, November coming up. They are, on paper, very, very tough. 4 games, 2 against Juventus, 2 against Valencia, tough games. We've got all the league games which are now tough because we're playing catch-up. I embrace that. I'm excited about that. I'm excited that every 3 days, when we haven't got crap international football, we've got real games that, you know, if we've got like West Ham and then midweek game we're playing bloody Bruges, we're like, oh, you know, Juventus in between 2 league games, I'll have some of that. Where do I sign up? Where do you sign up to watch football now, actually? That's the point, isn't it? Sky, BT, 11 Sports, whatever, and Amazon next year. But I am excited about it. And in this period of uncertainty around Manchester United at the moment with, well, are we going to be in the top 4? Could we miraculously start a title race? No. Are we going to be mid-table? Is Mourinho going to be sacked? Is Pogba going to go? Is, you know, this, that and the other? What better environment to be in than a challenging one? I think when you're in a challenging situation, what you don't want is mediocrity, lazy, oh, you should win this, you should win that. What Manchester United, actually, this could be the best thing that happens to us. Every league game we've pretty much got to win now because we're playing catch-up. Champions League, apart from the game against Young Boys, realistically, Valencia, and even those games we might have to score a lot of goals because goal difference might be important. The Champions League is going to be really tough as well. So it is really, really, really good. Ronaldo coming back to United, Pogba going back to Turin. Really, you know, I can't wait. I'm really, really excited about it. And I think a lot of people are. I think a lot of people are excited, but it's good for us. It's good for us. We're going to sink or swim. That's, you know, I've wasted the last 5 minutes. It's sink or swim. It really is sink or swim. And Mourinho outers might be thinking in the back of their head, you know, I don't even have to say Mourinho out. If he swims through this, I might change my mind. Personally, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens because we've got to win league games and we've got to win Champions League games. And Mourinho's got a lot of pressure on him now, which I think is a good thing because We can't afford any more draws or losses in the league for a while. We've got to go on a winning streak. And in the Champions League, we certainly can't afford to being knocked out in the Europa League. That would be a disaster. So pressure is on Mourinho. He won't like that draw. But he could have had a worse draw. He could have had a better draw. But he won't like that draw because it's more pressure on him. And if he hasn't got these players, I mean, what's the formation, this, that and the other? We don't know. But I am embracing that draw and I'm really, really pleased about it. And I hope a lot of people are as well. What's my thoughts on Alex Shaw? Yes. Maybe we'll come back to that one. The quicker we get Jose out, the better. So Stephen Diak. Well, this might be the thing that speeds it up, mate, because I really do think that come December and the end of the Champions League, which is close to Christmas, we will know whether Mourinho has a future at United or not, because we'll either still be in a race for the top four and we'll still be in the Champions League, or we'll be out of the Champions League. And I think if we go out of the Champions League, that's going to be another thing. Alex, what's your thoughts on Alex Shaw from ESPN? And it's from Alex. Maybe it is Alex Shaw from ESPN. Well, somebody's made a contribution about that. This sort of fits in. You know, if you don't follow me on Twitter, you won't know what that's all about, at Mark Goldbridge. So I had a couple of journalists sort of having a pop at me this morning. I wouldn't say in a nasty way, but a little bit of a pop at me. Spreading half-truths bordering on lies. But where that comes in for you lot, and I wasn't going to talk about this, is what Mourinho has said, and the press have been spoken about a lot this week. And I suppose I was a little victim of it today. I mean, I'm not on the stage of Jose Mourinho. You've got Jose Mourinho there, and you've got bloody me down there. That's fine. But I was a bit of a victim of people spreading bullshit, and I do sympathise with Mourinho on this. I know he made a bit of a plonker of himself walking out saying respect 3 times, this, that and the other. But that's a man on the edge. That's a man who's being pushed. And we don't need to feel guilty as Manchester United fans for criticising Mourinho, because he is the manager of our club and we've got more than enough evidence to be unhappy with Mourinho. That's fine. We are Manchester United fans. So the most of us, whether you go into games, buying merchandise, whatever, you are a Manchester United fan and you've got a right to have a say on it. I think the press have a responsibility to be objective, and also they have a responsibility not to put out speculation. When the facts are out there, go and get the facts. When the truth is there, go and get the truth. But don't just spurt out subjective opinion, because that's, for me, that is not what the press is. You've got fan channels for that. You've got blogs for that. The press need to be something a little bit different, and the press... The reason we quote the press when they've got transfer stories, and maybe we should stop doing it, is because they used to actually have little leaks there and there from the club. I'm not so sure now. And I think that's where Jose Mourinho is coming from. They're just spouting their own personal agenda. Mourinho's lost the dressing room more times than, someone who's lost a lot of dressing rooms. I can't think of anybody who would lose a dressing room. But you know what I mean? So my answer to that question would be, it's irresponsible when people in power of big organisations and editors and whatever are allowing content to go out that is half-baked. It's not true. So I do sympathise with Jose with that. Ben Silver says, I want the Mourinho of 2004 back. Somewhere along the line, he lost his fight and passion. He lost the ability to unite and protect a squad. He must change with the times or change club. Well, Ben, this goes back to what I was saying the other night, isn't it? About how he's lost his passion. He's not the man he was before. He's a bit like 2004, didn't have a pot to piss in, on his way up, probably driving a Vauxhall Corsa, living in a 2-up, 2-down semi-detached house, hungry for success, talented guy. At Manchester United, he's renting out the Lowry. He's got a Ferrari, Rolls Royce, clean pair of pants every day. He's made it. And I think that's the problem with Mourinho now. Not that he needs to have dirty pants or anything like that. I'm just saying everything's on a plate for him. 10 years ago, or 2004, he's hungry. It's the Del Boy analogy, isn't it? It is that. It's the hunger you have on your way up. Can you maintain that hunger when you get there? And I think I remember, I might have dreamt this, but if David Beckham said it, I'm going to give him the credit. Maybe he didn't, but maybe I made it up, probably. But it was something I like this. It was like David Beckham, if you look at Beckham and what an achievement. It is relevant me talking about Beckham because of the Champions League draw today and the award he got. So David Beckham, lad from London, loves Manchester United, but obviously lives down in London, goes to Manchester United as a kid, comes through the youth setup, the rest is history. Hungry, doesn't come from a rich background, working class background. Saturday night, he's not out with his mates, he's watching Match of the Day, playing football all the time. Work, graft, work, talent, gets there, makes it. David Beckham's kids now, however many he's got, she's knocked out a few, hasn't she? I think there's three lads and a girl. His boys, models, this, that and the other. They're never going to be professional footballers. They're never, they're not. It's not their fault. They're born into a multi-millionaire family. David Beckham can try and replicate what he had, but he can't. And why would he want to? His success will allow him to bring his kids up in a way that he wasn't brought up. So why shouldn't they have that? Doesn't mean they're knobhead kids. They're probably really grounded, nice kids, but they're not going to have that same sort of drive and passion. And that's what I think that's what is a fair sort of thing about Mourinho. It's like, I think at United he's made it, his mind's made it, the passion's gone, the hunger's gone, and it irritates him when he gets questioned because he's at a club where you get questioned more than ever, and he's at a club where even the United fans are like, well, you can throw your three fingers up in the air about your 3 titles, but put him in a bin. Put them in a bag and throw them away because they're nothing. What have you done for United? You've not won us a title. Don't give a damn if you've won a title for Chelsea. How many titles have you won for United? And I think that sort of clashes with Mourinho as well. Not to say he can't turn it around, but he does need to get that passion back. And how easy is it to do that? I don't know. Jose has to go. He will not change, says Jal Razak. You might be right. Frank Lampard to end Jose's career, says Nathan 199. Hey, look, if we lose to Derby, he ain't going to get the sack for that. It's only the Carabao Cup. Beckham now is better than everyone in our team, says Verd Plurel. I think David Beckham probably could play in our team. Why does no one else think Arsene Wenger is the man for United? Sajid, you've had a bad one there. Would you take Zidane in 4th place, Mark, if Jose walks now? Yes, Gazamania. Yes, I would, because I don't think Jose... Well, I personally would take Zidane now and 4th place, if that's what you're offering me. 4th place this season, because it would be something to build with. Because I don't think Jose is going to get any better than top 4. So why not make that change? Because I think this season was always about the title, and I don't think we can do it. But I'm massively excited. I'm not negative. I'm massively excited about the next few weeks. Some really tough Premier League games. Burnley on Sunday. Watford after the international break. Wolves at home will be tough. And then West Ham away. That's September's fixtures. I know, all right, we're not playing City or Liverpool or Chelsea, but they're tough fixtures for us. 3 away games, 1 home game against the good side. So we need 12 points. Mourinho needs 12 points. Drop any points there and the pressure creaks up. Intertwined with that, we've got the Champions League games as well. So it's really exciting because what I wouldn't want, and I remember this happening with Moyes and with Van Gaal, especially with Van Gaal, he'd have a bad result and then the next game for us would be a really winnable game for him. And he'd win it and then we'd have a bad result. And it jogged on and on and on. He never had a run of bad results bad enough to get the sack, if that makes sense. And I think Jose has got a real challenge in front of him, and he could slip and he could end up being sacked. I don't want that to happen. Or he could really, really grab this opportunity, and we might be in a really great situation come the start of September, October. I was just having a quick look to see if they put the Champions League fixtures out yet, but they haven't. It's normally a couple of hours after the draw, so they're probably imminently coming in. But looking forward to see who we got and when we will do that. Anyway, let me talk to you about Victor Lindelof. So Sven Goran Eriksson has come out and said, and I don't normally listen to Sven because he was a rubbish England manager, and he is a bit amenable and too nice, I always felt, with Eriksson, but he's got not got a terrible track record before England, especially in Italy. And he's come out and said that that Mourinho not coming out and backing Lindelof is really poor, because Lindelof played badly when he came on for Phil Jones on Monday, made a couple of big errors, and I think Gary Neville and Carragher picked up on it. And Eriksson's like, pretty much what I've seen a few of you say, really, that Lindelof was fantastic in the World Cup and he's a really good defender, but we very rarely see it at Manchester United. And Eriksson was saying, look, you should always defend your players. That's my motto. And Lindelof had a bad game and Bailly had a bad game, and he just drops them. There's no words of encouragement for those players. Whereas I remember last season, Lukaku was getting a bit of stick around October time. Mourinho's coming out defending him. Matic and Fellaini, he comes out and defends them. But I think Mourinho misses the point. I think this is what we're going back to there about the hungry guy and the millionaire guy. Can the millionaire guy really still be asked to do the whole job, whereas the hungry guy is looking at every angle to make it? And I think, yeah, all right, great. You protect Lukaku, you beg Fellaini, you protect Matic, but what about these lads who are like 20 to 24, who are developing? How many of those do you actually develop and protect? I mean, he started doing it with Luke Shaw after nearly 18 months of not doing it. Lindelof, why aren't you doing that? He's your signing. Do you not scout him? And Lindelof, more than anyone, looks terrified. He's nothing like what he was like for Sweden in the World Cup. He's nothing like what he was like at Benfica. He looks scared, terrified, and you don't need that in a centre-back. So, you know, Mourinho has said, I'm not going to publicly slate my players anymore. Wow, well done, Jose. Nice. Wish you'd done that from the start. You never should have done that. But how's about you actually come out and just back some of these players? Because they are what we are. We've got what we've got. And I just think a few kind words every now and again would be useful. Sharas, where's your live comment? Your super chat gone. He says, after the Champions League draw, it is worth the wait to see if we can turn it around. It's Merry Christmas or Jose fired Christmas. You know what? It would have worked really well if you had a really good bad Christmas. It's Merry Christmas or it's bad Christmas. Or it's Merry Christmas or the nightmare before Christmas. That one works even better. I see. We should be excited, but this is the final season for Jose. He should give it his all. He definitely should. Can Zidane actually develop midfielders like Pereira, who could be key to a potentially explosive midfielder with Fred and Pogba, says Guillermo? I don't know enough about Zidane to know what his development capabilities are. I've watched a lot of Real Madrid and I've seen games slipping away from them and tactical changes have brought them back. And I like the balance of the team that he built. When he could have had a team with Galacticos, he actually built a balanced team with a midfield three that really, you know, Modric is one of the best midfielders in the world, but the balance there is brilliant. So I liked that. Jose needs to just trust his players and they should look up to Luke Shaw, says Emperor Amani. And it's too late for Jose. It's been 2 years, says Gazel Cesar, which I think a lot of people do feel. Please do drop a like on the video, actually, if you're watching. That would be fantastic. We've got over 3,000 people watching, which is great. Just a little bit of a heads up. Jose Mourinho's press conference. We do that every week. I'll be live seconds after he's finished. And I think it's normally at 2 o'clock on a Friday. So tomorrow afternoon, I will be live for that. Make sure you join me for that. Let's see. Again, they're interesting press conferences at the moment. Even if he doesn't say nothing, it still gives us something to talk about. Juventus 2, Manchester United 0. Mourinho. To that also means I have 2 more Champions League titles than Juventus since I started managing. One with Porto, other with Inter. Respect. You know, if he starts doing stuff like that, he's going to irritate people even more and more, isn't he? I just wanted to... Yeah, you've just reminded me, actually. All right, Reflex Clin. Read Alex's comments. He's only just bloody put it up. Chill out, mate. But I did want to just mention Ronaldo. There's always, I think, like it's like picking combines 11s. The time is so relevant on this statement that I'm going to make, and any statement, because in 3 weeks' time it might be a stupid statement. 3 months ago it might be a stupid statement, but right now it's a winner. So, in the summer, I wanted Ronaldo to come back to Manchester United. So, he's going to be coming back for the Old Trafford game, hopefully, for Juventus. It's a shame it's not a permanent thing. And Ronaldo could have come to Manchester United. The story in the summer was that Juventus were the only club in for him. Ronaldo said that, and Manchester United didn't bother going in for him. Why? God knows. Maybe Mourinho didn't want Ronaldo. Maybe the board didn't want Ronaldo. Mistake as far as I'm concerned, but we didn't get him, and most of us wanted him, and I certainly wanted him back. I don't know whether Ronaldo would have come back if the offer had been made, but maybe he would, maybe he wouldn't. But at the time in the summer, I was one of those people who said, Ronaldo, I want him to come back. There was a lot of people in the summer saying, we don't actually need Ronaldo, we've got Lukaku. Where are they now? Where are they now? But I thought at the time it was a stupid comment. I think even more so now, and I think even those people who I'm about to read out the list, we go to the screen. No, I wouldn't do that to people. But there was a lot of people saying that on the streams in the summer. I think we've seen with Lukaku that I like Lukaku. I still think Lukaku is one of the top 10 number 9s in the world. I do, because I think his record speaks for itself. The issue with Lukaku is his first touch, and he's not a one chance, one goal striker. He isn't. He probably needs 3 chances to score 1 goal. So the more chances we create, the better. The problem is, we're creating him a lot of chances and not putting the ball in the back of the net. You've got Ronaldo in your team. You've got one of the best strikers in the world. But we'll be all right with Lukaku. But his finishing at the moment is abysmal, and he is getting away with it. I think if it was Rashford or Martial, like somebody said the other night, they'd probably be training with the reserves. They would get absolutely hung out to dry. And Mourinho wouldn't be backwards in coming forwards to tell people that in his post-match thing. But because it's Lukaku, you get away with it because he's one of his favourites. But he's got to start hitting the back of the net. I firmly believe Lukaku will hit the back of the net. But even in his year that Lukaku's been here, I remember about a year ago, we'd won our first 3 games of the season. We went to Stoke. We were 1-0 up. David De Gea pulled off an absolutely world-class save to tip it round for a corner. From the corner, Phil Jones fell on his arse and Stoke equalised. And then in the last 5 minutes, brilliant cross comes into Lukaku, centre of goal on the volley, missed. A year later, Phil Jones falling on his arse from a corner and Lukaku missing chances up the other end. But this is against Spurs. Nothing changes at United around the problems that will cost us points. I don't think Lukaku's a problem we need to replace, but the centre-back one I certainly do. Grey Eagle says, I don't see Ronaldo playing more than 1 season in Italy. I think he will. I think the pace there will suit him. I think he's probably got 3 years left if he stays in Italy, but maybe he'll only do 2. And maybe he will go America after that. Who knows? Lukaku wants Mourinho to get sacked if he was good at the World Cup, says Corey Mangan. I saw something about this in the week because apparently Lukaku and Pogba haven't been that close recently, but then they drove in together to training yesterday and people were like, well, that means Lukaku's now team Pogba and Pogba wants Mourinho out. I think we're in for a very interesting game on Sunday. A very interesting game. We're falling into that trap again though, aren't we, where if you're living in the UK, you can't legitimately watch that game. You can't because it's not on the telly. And we're not allowed to watch games like this. Bloody ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But I think it's going to be a very, very good game. And I know a lot of you will be watching it. Of course you will. But it's a big game for United. I think if he lost that one, there'd be massive problems. I expect us to win. And I think even winning it, it doesn't solve problems. It just sort of like, well, at least we've won a game. We've got to win on Sunday, and I think we will do. The other thing I wanted to talk about was Martial and Sanchez. Not really about Martial, but just to give you a bit of a background to this. Alexis Sanchez has played 15 times for Manchester United. 2 goals, 3 assists. Is that enough? And Sanchez is nearly 30 as well. We know Martial last season, I think in his first 15 games, he got something like 5 goals and 8 assists. So the return is a lot better. But we've got to see more from Alexis Sanchez. We all made an excuse for him last year and said, okay, half a season, it's not easy to come in January. And it is only the start of the season, and he was injured, obviously, for 1 game. And he came on. Oh, God. He came on in the... apparently he came on against Spurs. I barely noticed the kid, to be honest. But he's got to do more. He's got to deliver more. And by deliver, I was having this argument with Flex when we were driving back yesterday, because he was like, we were talking about Lingard. And I said, look, I don't dislike Lingard. I just think Lingard's a squad player. He's not a first 11 player, and that's the problem. And Flex was like, oh, yeah, but he put so much effort in. And I slammed the brakes on. No, I didn't. I carried on driving. But I said, look, this gets on my nerves. This is the one thing that gets on my nerves. Since when has effort been an attribute that Manchester United fans should be talking about as much as we do now? It was always, effort's very important at Manchester United. It runs through the embroidery of the club. Effort. You know, you look at your Roy Keanes, your Brian Robsons, your Steve Bruce, your Cantonars, your Beckhams, your Giggs, your Ronaldos, your Tevez, whoever. Effort's there. You know, you could list hundreds of Manchester United players where effort is just taken for granted because they get what United's all about. But these days, I see the word effort mentioned like it's an attribute on FIFA, and they're, oh, Lingard's a 92 rating on effort on FIFA. And you can joke about that, but it does feel true. And I think this needs to stop. I mean, Fellaini's whole career is based on effort. You know, people who like Fellaini, the only word they can ever talk about is effort. And I think that's really sad. I think it's really sad. It's the sort of thing you expect from Cardiff City when they're fighting a relegation battle. It's not the sort of thing you expect when you're talking about Liverpool or Manchester City or Spurs and their challenges for whatever trophy or tournament or title they're going for and whatever brand of football they're playing. Effort is not really the word that gets mentioned. All their players are putting in the effort, but you're talking about the goals, the speed of play, the points they've acquired. That's what you're doing. But at United, effort has become this attribute that fans are using it as a stick to say he's better than him. Oh, he puts more effort in than he does. Screw your effort. Like, if players aren't putting in the effort in, they're bad buys, they shouldn't even be at the club. That's on the manager. Effort should not be a reason to pick somebody over somebody else. Talent should be the reason to pick somebody over somebody else. So Alexis Sanchez, all I ever hear about Alexis Sanchez is, oh, his effort, his tracking back. Oh, he puts so much effort in, Mark. I think he puts too much effort in. I think he tries too hard. He loses the ball. He plays silly passes. He's got two goals and 3 assists in 15 games. That's crap. And I don't care whether he's got a 99 FIFA effort rating. That isn't good enough. Effort is standard at Manchester United. Start producing on the pitch. And if you're trying too hard, have a word with yourself, run a couple of laps, have a cold shower and chill out. Chill out and do the job we bought you to do. We didn't buy you for effort. We bought you because you're one of the best players in the Premier League. Now go out and start producing that. Goals and assists, which is what you were bought to do. And I'm fed up of effort being used as a thing. Effort's very important, but at Manchester United it should be a given. And we are building players up and arse-licking players and saying, oh, they're a great Manchester United player because they put so much effort in. Stop doing it. You're demeaning the club and you're demeaning yourself as a fan, I believe, because it's never been anything that's mentioned. It's never. You know, Roy Keane used to get called a terrier, which I suppose is effort, but it was a term of endearment because he was an absolute fighter, a knobhead in a Manchester United shirt, and he was our knobhead. Absolutely aggression, effort, whatever. But this effort as an attribute thing, it needs to stop. I've heard people saying it. Oh, I'll pick Fellaini in my team because of effort over such and such. That's wrong. That's wrong. We're not Cardiff. Give me a United shirt and I'll put in 100% effort. Still won't take away from the fact I'd be a B-Tech Scott McTominay, says Matthew McFadden. Spot on. Spot on. How many times have I said that? Look, my postman's a massive Manchester United fan. I give him a Manchester United shirt. He'll run around non-stop till he's dead because he loves the club. But he's crap. I'd rather go and get lazy Di Maria back because he's talent. The manager's got to get the effort out of the player. That's what it is. It's not our job as fans to big up effort players. It's the manager's job to get the talented players performing. And at United at the moment, Mourinho picks too many effort players over talent players. All right, you know, Luke Shaw, it's working with him now. It's taken too long. But Martial, Pogba, you know, these are players that are the best talented players in our club. Why is Mourinho not getting the effort? You can leak stories about him being moody, whatever, this, that and the other, but it always reflects back on the manager. What's their problem? Why haven't you solved it? When I used to work as a manager, when you lot work with your family or whatever like that, if someone's got a problem, do you just ignore them and whatever? Well, some people do. They don't talk to the family members for years, do they? But it's not really the way to solve a problem. If you've got a problem with somebody, you solve the problem. And Mourinho, for me, doesn't solve enough problems. We've got a few snakes appearing in the live comments. That always happens when I mention Di Maria. Yes, so that's just a little bit of bugbear of mine. And Flex started it last night with his effort levels of Lingard. Look, I love the effort that Lingard puts in. I don't like the fact that his first touch was crap the other night. And for all his running, he didn't really create a lot. But effort for me should be standard at United. It shouldn't be something that we're going, oh, look at the effort levels of Alexis Sanchez. I guarantee you Liverpool fans aren't doing that. City fans aren't doing it. Oh, look at the effort levels of Sergio Aguero and Leroy Sané. Look at the effort levels of Mo Salah. You know, they're not from Yorkshire. But you know what I mean? They're not doing that because those players are putting the effort levels in, but you're actually seeing their talent as well. We're just, United, we're admiring effort. We're not admiring talent. We're admiring effort most of the time. Oh, look at the way he tracked back and did that tackle. Oh, he's lost the ball again. Oh, he's lost the ball again. Oh, he's played a 50-yard pass and lost the ball again. Oh, he's been tackled again. But look at him tracking back. Look at him tracking back. Yeah, he's a left winger, mate. He's a striker, mate. Their job is to put the ball in the back of the net or create a goal. Don't give a damn about him tracking back. He should do that anyway. You know what I mean? Anyway, thanks everybody for watching. Please do drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. And I've put a lot of effort into that show, so please do drop a like. Nobody is good enough for you. Not the players, not the coach. Look, listen to me. Olawa, Sami, Yomi, Tundi. Loads of players in this club are good enough for me. I'm positive about a lot of things. At the moment, this club's not good enough. From top to bottom, it's not good enough. But I also said this to Flex yesterday as well, and I'll leave you with this as well. People talk about Arsenal Fan TV, United Stand, Piers Morgan, journalists, whatever. They're negative. They're putting negative. They're driving a negative agenda around our club. They don't represent me. They're just negative. The negative stand. This, that, and the other. Right? Okay. All right. That's fine. That's their opinion. Flip it round. Where's the negativity coming from? Is it coming from fans moaning, or fans moaning because there's negativity at the club? At the moment, fans have got every right to be negative. And there is negativity. Our manager spent all summer being negative and said it was going to be a difficult season. Our board didn't buy anybody the manager wants. Negative. Our players are playing negative. So fans being negative, come see, come saw. You put that in the mix, you know, it's going to happen, isn't it? It is. It is. It's going to happen. You know, it is. Board back the manager. Manager speaks positively. Players play their hearts out consistently. We start moaning. That's driving a negative agenda. But I'll guarantee you, if United had bought the players they should have done, Mourinho was being positive and the players were responding to it, and we hadn't lost our first 2-3 games in 3, and we were doing things right, we would all be positive. Don't tell me, if the United Stand existed in 99, we're going for a treble, we'd be going, oh, Ferguson, oh, he don't know what he's on about. We wouldn't. We would be living in a dreamland like Liverpool were last season. There are loads of positivity around at Liverpool at the moment. They got to Champions League final. They couldn't believe it. They were playing great football. Salah's one of the best players in Europe. They go and do something brilliant in the transfer window. They cross off all their negatives, and then they start season really well. Not many Liverpool fans are moaning at the moment because they've got positive vibes coming from their club. We would be the same. Unfortunately, and for the whole life of the United Stand, actually, there's been a lot of negativity and crap that's fed to us from the club. And I hope that one day that's going to spin, and then when that spins, all of you lot and me and everybody else will spin positive as well. It's not meant to be like this. This isn't an agenda that anybody wants. We don't want it like this. I want, like when we did the watch along for the Europa League and we spent an hour afterwards, you know, getting really excited about what was to come, and you know, Griezmann's coming. We've won a Europa League. We've never won that before. We've had glimpses of positivity, and I love it, and we love it, and you love it. But at the moment, it's just the negativity is being driven from the club and the manager. Thanks everyone for watching. Speak to you all soon. Have a nice evening. Back tomorrow at around 2 o'clock for Jose Mourinho's press conference reaction. I'll speak to you all soon. Please do drop a like on video, and if you haven't watched my channel today, Goldbridge live stream. I did a FIFA one today, so it was a good laugh, and it was very entertaining. It was a very good stream. You know, I wasn't crap on it. It was very good. So go and give it a watch. Thanks for watching. I'll speak to you very soon.